Right now, we do want to get a check on our forecast. You can see it is raining out there. Meteorologist Jackson Chastain is here with that. Good morning to you, Jackson.
Good morning to you, James. And it is needed rain that we've been waiting for a long time. And finally, it's here. Now, earlier in the morning, it was a little bit more intense. These bands, which are now near the New Jersey border and parts of the New York border, were further to the west and covering parts of Harrisburg, Chambersburg, York, Shippensburg, some of these western locations. Now we're getting into a little bit of a drier slot, but notice further to the west, there still is a lot to get through as well. So that's what we've been harping on, these periods of rain that we'll be tapping into. Temperatures relatively mild despite everything going on with the clouds and the higher humidity and in the rain and all of that. So we're going to stay right around that range throughout the day. Temperatures have actually warmed, believe it or not, by a few degrees over the past 24 hours. And remember, these clouds are really good at retaining a lot of daytime heat from the previous day. So that is part of what we're seeing there. The other part is that dew points are so high. They are also in the 70s. And so that means that the lower floor for what the temperature can be is actually relatively high. And so we're starting off relatively mild. We're not going to warm up much further because we're not going to get a lot of sunlight. So about 75 is where we're going to land, all said and done. Scattered showers through much of the day, maybe some storms as we get into the latter half of the day, and then heading into the overnight, we'll drop down into the mid 60s. But in terms of what we're seeing here, again, there are some dry patches, and that's what we're seeing, especially to the southwest right now, but soon enough we'll be seeing more rain after that. Remember, as Dan Tomaso mentioned earlier in the day, we still have to wait for this low to actually push through. And when that does so, it's going to bring more rain with it. So heading into the afternoon, you'll see coverage decrease, but with that decreased coverage, you're going to give the atmosphere some space to build back some instability. And as a result, storms are likely through the afternoon and into the evening. Not expecting anything particularly severe, but you could be seeing some stronger winds, maybe some heavier downpours with some of these cells. The evening and overnight should be relatively dry, and then heading into Friday, would not be surprised to see a stray shower, but much of the day will be dry, as will Saturday, barring the afternoon and evening when things pick up just a little bit. Light activity at best, but it is something that you should be aware of. And then Sunday, we are watching for some more rain there. That would be especially in the morning. Totals wise, we are going to be very, very mixed here. By 5 a.m., you might be seeing half an inch to an inch or not much at all. On the temperature side of things, we will warm potentially into the 80s ahead of this incoming front, down into the 60s overnight, and then heading into Friday, back to the upper 70s, maybe low 80s, and the weekend itself should be relatively comfortable, except for those stray showers. On the tropics, we have Humberto now, another area of interest off to the west, and that is something that is definitely worth mentioning because that might track up the coast and bring us some more rain. You'll notice we have a few rain chances heading into the next week. So all said and done, we'll be keeping you updated. Temperatures staying consistently in the 70s, dew points decreasing down into the 60s and then down into the 40s heading into the middle part of next week. So that 3-day forecast to show you that we're going to be in the mid to upper 70s. The 7-day forecast to show you that we're going to be very, very nice heading into the start of next week. A front moving through that'll cool us down into the low 70s. That's a quick look at your forecast. Coming up next,